Yo, 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 yo. What's good, my people? It's your boy Jason Gooner. We're back in the studio, and you know what time it is. EPL preview show, week 33. We have 10 games that we're going to predict. We know we have one in the midweek as well. Arsenal playing two. They play another fixture Wednesday playing Crystal Palace. We won't include that in the predictions for this week, just so we can have the review show Monday night after the Tottenham Forest game. But you know the settings already, people. We're going to discuss all 10 games, discuss the form of the teams, discuss the injury news for all the teams in the league as well. And of course, we're going to start the show off looking back at the exploits of the English teams in Europe, because it was a big week for the English league clubs as far as the Champions League, Europa League, and Conference League are concerned. All right, people. So first things first, people, it is a YouTube program, so you need to please do smash the like button. That's the first most important thing you can do for the platform. Just smash the like button right away. Just boom, like button. Find it. It's somewhere on the screen, whether you're watching on your device, TV screen, whatever. Just move the thing around. Find the little thumbs up button. Hit the OK button. Hit the mouse. Hit whatever you can hit. And yes, you smash the like button that way, people. And then the next thing you can do, you see it on the bottom of the screen. Like, share, and subscribe. That's all you have to do for me, people. Please do like, share, and subscribe to the content. That is the best way you can support the channel. Of course, we will always say another way to support. You can become a member of the channel by clicking the join button. Yes, it's $1.99 a month. It's just another way to show your support to Jason Gooner TV. The lights are running. The bills have to be paid. So, anything helps, you don't know. And of course, you can drop your thoughts or comments in the form of a super chat anytime we are live as well. So that's a few ways you can support the channel. But the main thing, people, like the content, like the content, like the content. Yes, that is the most important thing. So please do that for me. All right, people. Yeah, man. So let me see. I'm going to put a poll, make sure people like the video so we don't have to talk about it. People can just see the question and say, oh, yes, let me do that now. Yes, people. So I hope everybody had a good week. It's Friday. So we're in the studio just relaxing. Have a little basketball play-in tournament going on, Miami and Atlanta on the TV. Big up Miss Melina. Friday evening. Cheers. You don't know. Basking in the glory of another great week for Arsenal. Into the semis of the Champions League. Feels good. And big ups as well to the females, the women, because they have a big first leg tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, I believe. I think it's early for me over here, 7:30. Should be the midday kickoff in England. So yeah, Emirates should be rocking. They're hosting Lyon. I would say probably joint favorites for the competition with Barcelona. So definitely gonna be a tough task, tough task for us, but the girls have shown a lot of mettle this season, so we know they're going to come and put a very good, strong showing. So yeah, we're looking forward to that. We'll wake up early to watch that. Miss Melina is doing a watch along for the game, people. So go over there and support. Drop a like on the video. Drop some super chat. Nice up the place for Miss Melina, because I saw that she was doing a watch along for that. So big up to yourself, Miss Melina. Thanks for being in the building. Gunners for life. You don't know the thing set. Jordan, big up yourself. Hope all is well, my brother. Yeah, man, we're there. But for the EPL preview show, drop some predictions like we always do. Taking all the latest team news and everything. And also, we have a lot of the teams that are playing, obviously played, whether it's Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. A lot of effort given in those games for all the teams. So just going to see if that will factor in at all to the predictions this week. But yeah, as I was saying just now, I want to just take a quick look back at the teams from England in the Premier League that would have played in the week in these competitions. First we would have had Aston Villa on Tuesday. They had a tough result. Played really well, I thought, especially in both halves actually. They played well. But yeah, they fell just short to Aston Villa. Aston Villa fell short to PSG, sorry. And yeah, I thought that game was extremely entertaining on Tuesday. I thought it basically set the trend for the week in European football because Wednesday didn't disappoint either. But I thought the Tuesday games, especially Dortmund putting up much more of a fight than many people would have thought. This 3-1 could have been a lot more goals. But Aston Villa PSG, as I was saying, this was their fixture. And, just tying into the game coming up, you can see who played in the game. Rashford was taken out. People were quite couldn't understand that change. He was on fire when he came off. Rogers, the tried and trusted one, was the one to stay on the pitch. And hindsight will always have perfect vision, but looking back, you must say, boy, I don't know if that was the right choice. But Asensio, Ramsey, Matson, we did see Leon Bailey on the bench, which is a good sign for all you Reggae Boys fans. He is back fit and at least available. So hopefully we see him touch the field on the weekend. But yeah, I think with Aston Villa, last week he didn't really rotate much before the second leg, which looking back, I wonder if he regrets doing that, because he didn't start Ali Watkins in any of the last games in the 3 games they played in 7 days. And it's just kind of baffling to me that you have him there. You have this crunch game in the week and he still started Rashford on the weekend. So, and I want to say it was Southampton away. So it's like, certain games you have to be able to make those adjustments. He did it on the back line. He played Mings, he played Matson, but on the forward line he didn't really make many changes, which was kind of surprising to me. So yeah, we're gonna see how it factors in at all. I think when you look at Villa's position in the table, they really don't have any time to rest players or anything like that. I mean, the top 5 race is going to be really sticky, and we're going to really look at that tonight and try to see who we think will actually end up in the top 5 at the end of the season. We have 6 games left, so I feel like it's a nice time to just try to go ahead and put our top 5 in the comment section tonight. But we'll get there eventually. On Wednesday, of course, Arsenal playing the second leg in the Bernabeu, we were able to get that 2-1 victory. Martinelli with the late goal. But I think the main thing about these 2 legs for me was just the ability of Arsenal to really limit what Real Madrid were able to do in terms of clear-cut chances. If you look at the big chances over the legs, I think Arsenal had more big chances than them over both legs. I want to say they only had 1 big chance in the first game and another 1 in the second game. So if you can play 180 minutes plus injury time against this Madrid team, I know a lot of people saying after the fact, no, oh, this is one of the worst Madrid teams and this and that, but that wasn't really the narrative before these games were played. People were saying, okay, that's the end of Arsenal in this competition just because we drew Real Madrid, and maybe, not really looking at the actual analytics for the game, because, it was clearly going to be an attack versus defense type of thing. We have the strongest defense along with Inter in the competition this season, and Real Madrid, one of the highest scoring teams in the competition. So it was always going to be that. But I think where people kind of had it messed up is, I think if you look at it, our attack is better than Madrid's defense. Whereas I think that our defense can hold up and our defensive structure and system can hold up to Real Madrid. I didn't feel the same for Madrid against us. So I knew that if we could be clinical, if it even was for a spell of the games over the 2 legs, I felt like we would be able to limit them to an extent. So, yeah, we ended up winning it convincingly in the end, 5-1 on aggregate. I know I personally, when Vinny got that goal right away, I'm thinking, oh gosh, the stadium, the fans, but it just never really materialized. And Arsenal were able to, just really control that next phase of the game after the goal. And when it got close to injury time, they pretty much were going all out. So they were getting some more opportunities or half chances. But of course, they were always vulnerable to the counter. And it was a clean counter. 2 assists from Marino. I think he's proven to be like invaluable in these last month or so. Maybe it's a case where if we had even gone to it earlier, what more could he have done this season, But yeah, Mikel Merino really playing well. I have to give him his credit. 2 assists on the day. Saka trying the Panenka, getting it saved, but then chipping the keeper just the same. So it's almost like he got the revenge the same way, chipping it over the keeper. But yeah, great effort from the Gunners, and we'll get PSG in the semi-final, which I'm sure on this channel. We'll have a lot of content surrounding that in a couple of weeks. All right, so that's the Champions League for the English teams. Then we move into the Europa League, and we had all the quarterfinals played on Thursday, the second legs, and we had two English teams featuring Tottenham and Manchester United. And I must be honest, people, I am a hater of both of those teams. So I actually predicted both of them to drop out of the competition. And of the two, surprisingly, it seemed like Tottenham, look to control it a bit more. I think Frankfurt was a bit unlucky towards the end of that game. Maybe they deserved to draw the game 1-1 and send it to extra time. But in the end, you have to give Tottenham credit. They defended well, never broke in that second leg, and were able to keep that 1-0 after a penalty from Solanke. So they are through to the semi-finals. And then the other game was one for the ages, man. Man United against Lyon. So look, I was actually streaming about some Jamaican football on the day, and when I finished the stream, I want to say it was still 2-2 at the time. Lyon had scored 2 goals to equalize and send it to extra time, and then what an extra time it was. Lyon ends up getting 2 goals in extra time, one in the first half, one in the second, and then I think it was about 7 minutes or so? Yeah, 10 minutes. Yeah, 7 minutes basically. So Bruno Fernandes gets a penalty or converts a penalty to make it 4-3 on the night. And then Kobe Mainoo scores a brilliant goal after some good work with Casemiro to make it 4-all. And then right when I'm thinking, okay, penalties, maybe they're losing penalties, Harry Maguire somehow, who was playing striker basically ever since the Lacazette penalty in extra time, ball clipped to the back post by Casemiro. He evades the defender and a brilliant header to the far post to make it 5-4 on the night, 7-6 on aggregate. So it really was one of those classic Old Trafford Fergie time type of situations. And you have to put your hands up and applaud them. I think, Leon, I just want to touch on one player. You see this kid, Malik Fofana? I can't act as if I've watched this guy play a whole bunch of times, right? But I'm telling you, people, this kid, people need to watch out for him, man. Came from, I think he was at what? Genk? Oh, he was at Ghent. So he was at Ghent. Then he transferred to Lyon last season in January. Been there ever since. Those are his stats. His numbers not really jumping off the page per se, but you can see he's getting a lot of sub appearances this season. But he's definitely one for the future. I think he's only 20 years old. And yeah, if anybody was watching that game, scouts around the world trying to find wingers, boy, as I say, I don't know the consistency levels because I'm not a starter. But I'm sure Leon going to lose some players in the summer because they're a selling club most of the time. And he's definitely ready to step up. So remember, Malik Fofana, people, one to watch. That kid is ridiculously skillful and fast, talented, very technical youth. Very technical youth. You reach 2K, big up, Jordan, big up. Congrats, my brother. Yeah, man. Yeah, man, the grind is real, bro, but you put in the work and you deserve it. Bless up DJ Gigs, what go on? Bless up Duke. Yes, Duke, you have to pick better this week, bro. I'm tired of you being the donkey, 6 minutes. Oh, yeah, 6 minutes. Well, 114, 120, 121. No 7 that. Did Man U surprise you yesterday or not? Yes, Man U surprised me. They surprised me a few times because to me it was surprising that they were so comfortable 2-0. And even though I was saying on stream, like, they're going to come back in the game, I was really saying that hating-wise because Leon was like, they're having territory and thing, but Man U was pretty comfortable. I mean, some saves were made and stuff, but it wasn't no crazy thing. But the minute that first goal went in, it's like Man U just started to cave. And then when it went 4-2 in extra time, I'm literally sending memes to people, saying it's over, blah, blah, blah. And then, credit to United, bro. Them find the 3-goal them to overturn everything and give them fans a moment. I know United is a rich history of a club, so a lot of them fans would have, experience wicked nights and trophies and everything. But based on how it's been going for them, I'm sure that this one felt real good because it's almost one of those ones where a lot of them probably were like, this is over and ready to cuss. So the fact that them end up pulling it off, you have to give them credit. Honestly, he was giving the Man U defenders problems yesterday. Yeah, bro, that kid for Fana, man. I'm telling you, I'm going to start to like try to watch this kid progression, bro, because I was very, very impressed. Bless up, bless up, bless up, City. Yeah, man, Max City did there, man. Remember me there say Leona pressure them too much, they're gonna score some goal. And I literally thought if they could get it to extra time or tie the game, they were gonna win. And so when it went 4-2 in extra time, I was just like, well, I told you so. But hey, credit to Man U, bro. Man, them find something. And then we're not too get so much highlight, but we know also that Chelsea in the Conference League made it through. But their captain Reece James was quite upset actually. Saying it don't feel like, yes, they went through to the semi-final, but it don't feel like a step forward today. And that's because they lost 2-1 at home to Legia Warsaw. Pretty much the same team he's kind of been playing in the Conference League to an extent. I mean, Josh Achampong played, Dewsbury Hall, who's been playing pretty much always in this competition. But this time he went with the Cole Palmer, Jadon Sancho, and Nico Jackson, as well as Nkunku. So he kind of played a few more of the main frontline players, and it actually didn't work out for him. So I think this is their first defeat in the Conference League over the course of the season, but doesn't matter, they still made it to the semifinals where they will face Djurgården. The other semifinal will be Real Betis and Fiorentina. So Chelsea, big favorites to make it to that final in the Conference League. So if it don't work out for them in the top 5, if they can win the Conference League, at least they know they'll be in the Europa League next season. All right, so that is that for the European check-in. Now let's get... At one point, they were passing the ball side to side like RM. All right, let's get the fixtures up. Actually, no, before we get the fixtures up, let's look at the injury news and the press conference news. All right, so the first thing we have is Pep talking about the team news for City. City, of course, playing tomorrow morning. So this is all the news from earlier today. Presser. Phil Foden and Akanji return to training this week. We'll see later today whether they will be in contention. So they're not quite confirmed, but good news on their return soon. Phil been back since Thursday. Manu, yes, 2 or 3 training sessions with us. I see him moving really well. Okay. Ederson will be out. So Ortega will start for all you FPL folks who maybe were thinking about starting Edison or having Edison. Don't do that. Asked about when the Brazilian might be available. He's not ready for tomorrow. I don't know when for the game. He's not ready. Rodri, Stones, Ake, and Haaland have also been unavailable due to injury. Basically, the next games, Haaland won't be ready. Stones and Ake not yet, getting better, but not yet. So that is the team news for City. Still, the long-term injury is still out, and then the new ones, Ederson, of course, is out. But they could get the bonus of getting Akanji and Foden back. Phil sounds like he's a little bit further off than Akanji, but let's see. I think the emergence of McAtee this season, maybe they probably won't even rush Foden at this point. Make sure he's fit for the FA Cup semi-final. So yeah, with Pep, you never really know, man. His rotation is very hard to predict. Savinho and Doku have been fit and they haven't really been playing much of late. So you never really know with this guy, to be honest, man. Man just do all kind of things. Anything we go to him brain, him just do that. So yeah, City is a tough team to predict their team. All right, so this is good news now for AFC Bournemouth. I think this guy being out has really coincided with a dip in their form and their ability to get points in this league, and that is AFC Bournemouth's Patrick. Actually, him not named Patrick, him named Justin. I'm father more call. Yeah, so Justin Clivert said to be available for tomorrow's game. I think Justin will be available if he trains normally. That's the plan. If everything goes normally, he's going to be available. Sinistero is still out. But they will face Crystal Palace, a team that you never really know, man. Some days they look like world beaters, other days they look like they're exactly where they belong in 12th position in the Premier League. So, and I think Bournemouth of late has been similar. You don't really know what Bournemouth you're going to get. So this game is going to be a tough one to predict, I think. But the good news for Bournemouth is that Clivert looks set to be fit. Another return to Brighton, and Brighton will be getting one of their main pieces back as well. Was actually just hitting some decent form right before his most recent injury, I thought, and that is Brighton's Cairo Matoma. Also back in the team this week is Van Heck. You know, he got a red card and was suspended, so he will return after serving his suspension. There's a chance also that Kadioglu and Milner could be available before the end of the season. Lamptey Veltman still out. So yeah, Cairo Mitoma looks like he will be back and fit. Typically, Mitoma, when he's available, is a starter. So keep that in mind. All you fantasy folks, yes, they have Brentford away in this week's fixture for them. Now, moving along, a player that there have been three players at Liverpool this season that have all been rumored to be on their way out, and one of those three players, pretty much it's set now that he will be leaving the club, but he will be making a return to the lineup at least this weekend. Trent Alexander-Arnold fitness update. He's due to rejoin the team training on Friday and may be ready to take a spot on the bench at the King Power. Trent is coming back from injury. He trained with us yesterday, and every time he plays with us and trains with us, he shows his commitment. He has worked so hard to be back already now, and the moment he's on the pitch, he shows me what a great football player he is and how much he's involved in us trying to achieve our goals this season. He has worked so hard during the whole season, and now during his rehab to be back with the team again. The fans of Liverpool, everyone who watches football for the last 5, 6, or 7 years knows he's an incredible fullback, has been an incredible fullback for this club, and let's see what the future brings. He's not ready to start, but if things go well today and tomorrow, he might be on the bench, but definitely not to start because he's out for 5.5 weeks, and this is today probably his first session with the team. Okay. So basically, it's still a chance he's not even with them, but basically, if he trained well, this would have been earlier, basically late last night. This would have came out. So or actually, well, early morning. So yeah, about 9 o'clock in the morning in England today. So yeah, if he got through training on Friday, their game is on Sunday as well. So yeah, he should be on the bench if all went well today in training. But more than likely won't be starting for sure. So this is something that I told you we're gonna have to kind of keep in mind as we're making our picks for the week. I think it would be smart of people at least. So this is some news out of the Europa League game with Eintracht Frankfurt and Spurs. And it's about James Maddison. Maddison couldn't continue, replaced by Kulusevski. And basically in the post-match, let me see. Where does he say it? Yeah, so basically Maddison let me see something. Okay, here it is. He's fine. Unbelievable courage in that moment to put his body on the line, knowing full well that he was going to get a pretty severe knock. And I was surprised it wasn't a red card. Super courageous from him. He is sore, but I'm sure that has all been numb, knowing that he has helped us progress to the semi. So basically, he's saying that it's looking more like a knock than a true injury. So Madison, if anything, might not start. And I've seen Ange basically claim that it's going to be quite a changed team. The players need their rest. The mission has been to make sure they get past this stage in the Europa League. So with not much to play for in the Premier League other than pride, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a much changed Spurs team. And they don't have much in reserve based on their injuries. So it could be some youngsters that you see running out in this game. But let's see, maybe Dante Casanova. Who knows? That would be nice. Do you think Trent will do a U-turn and resign? Well, I don't know, because until with these type of things, Max City, me always look at it like until me see the man I hold up the jersey and sign something, anything can play. Because he is a scouser true and true. So, as it gets closer and closer to the time, he's seeing, damn, Moy staying, Virgil staying. Why am I running away? We just won the league. It's only the second league I've won here. I mean, what's to say they can't go for another challenge for the next couple of years after this? So does he really want to look back and see them win more titles potentially, and he's not a part of it? You know what I mean? And then another team that had a very, very rough week in terms of, working really hard is Manchester United. So here's the team news. This is for the Leon test. Never mind. So this is before the game. So never mind. This is the old one. I don't have any news on the United players other than I know Xerxes is out for the season. Yeah, but Max City, that's a good question. I'm not sure. I would say, I would tell fans of Madrid and fans of Liverpool just wait because as I said, it's emotions involved with that one. He's like, he's Liverpool through and through. So, he could do a U-turn, bro. You never know. He could very well do a U-turn. But people, please, please, please do smash the like button, share, and subscribe. All right. So we're gonna move into the fixtures for the week, people. The first game on the list. We have Brentford and Brighton, people. Brentford and Brighton. So Brentford and Brighton, two teams that have been pretty decent this season. I think Brighton's probably been the better, and the position in the table will show that, of course. But I think Brentford, if their start was a little bit better, maybe they could have been one of those stories like in and around that European picture. But I think it might be a little bit far off with 6 games to play. But so far, these two teams have met 7 times. Only 1 win to Brentford so far in this series. 3 wins for Brighton and 3 draws. They drew earlier in the season at the Amex. Last year in the corresponding fixture, it was 0-0. And if you look, the last 2 times these teams have played, neither team have scored a goal. The time before that at the G-Tech, Brentford got a 2-0 win. So this is the form of both teams going into the game. It's identical. Only 1 win from 5 for both, with 2 draws and 2 losses. They both lost to Aston Villa, drew with Arsenal, did Brentford, drew with Chelsea as well, lost to Newcastle, and beat Bournemouth. So Brentford have had quite a tough last 5 games. Those are all teams vying for the top 5 right there that they have played. Brighton, on the other hand, have had some teams that they probably will look back and say we should have done better. They beat Fulham 2-1, drew with Man City, lost 3-0 to Villa. That was a home loss as well. Terrible performance for them. They lost away to Crystal Palace 2-1, and they drew at home to Leicester. So that's really been an issue for them, their home form of late. If you look at the last 3, good win against Fulham, but then losing 3-0 and drawing 2-2 with relegation-bound Leicester. On the season so far, the points looking, the position looking a lot closer right now. A 5-point gap though, 5 more draws for Brighton. That's really where the difference lies in the points. Average goals scored per match almost identical. and also goals conceded per match almost identical. This is looking like a draw written all over it. Clean sheets, 7 for Brighton, 6 for Brentford, also close. Chances created per match, very close. Brighton with a slight edge there. Both have had their biggest wins against Southampton, 5-0 for Brentford, 4-0 for Brighton. And then goal scorers on the season, Buemo and Wissa forming a deadly duo, 31 goals between them. João Pedro back in the goals of late, scoring 2 penalties last week. He's up to 10 now. Damsgaard, one of my unsung heroes this season, underrated players. He's on 10 assists as well for Brentford, having a really good season. So that is the breakdown of the statistics so far this year. I think, as I said, this game should be an entertaining one. Don't let the fact that the last 2 times these teams played each other, it was a 0-0 draw. I would be almost shocked if they played out to one of those in this fixture this time. I would be really shocked, actually, if that were to happen this go around. So I am not going with a 0-0, that is for sure. I'm going to say, people, based on the statistics being so close, they're so close to each other in the table, I just feel like this has a draw written all over it. I was thinking Desmond 2-2, but I'm gonna say 1-1. I'm gonna say 1-1. Yeah, I'm gonna go with a 1-1, people. So drop your scores in the comment section right now, people, for the Brentford versus Brighton games. I am going for a 1-1 fixture in that one. One other storyline as well in the Brentford game, we are coming up to a very, very, very busy time for the Reggae Boys, and we have to be looking out for the players. So just want to point out the last couple of weeks, a fit Ethan Pinnock has sat on the bench, had to bide his time to get back into the starting lineup. Seth Vandenberg has basically gotten his spot the last few weeks, and it's going to be one to watch towards the end of the season. As I said, 6 games left to play. While I don't mind him getting a rest, I also don't want to see him lose his starting place. So let's see if the season ends out this way with him basically, that first option as a centre back off the bench, or he does wrestle his way back into that first team to end out the season. So that's going to be the one thing that I'm watching as far as team selection in this game tomorrow. But like I said, people, I'm going with the 1-1 Brentford and Brighton. I might regret that, because I'm thinking goals should be in this, especially since the last couple have been 0-0. And I don't think neither one of these teams have the characteristic to not score. So, yeah, I feel like goals should come as a result. But I'm going to stick with that 1-1 for this one. Bless up Nitro. Well, go on. Nitro said 2-1 for Brighton, you say? All right. Big up Float in the building. It's like me read your mind, Float, because I know say somebody would have asked about Pinnock at some point. So we have 2 2-1s for Brighton so far. And we have 2-1 Brentford. Yeah, so I just kind of spoke on Pinnock. I think, I couldn't really tell. I think most of the expected lineups have him on the bench. But, I think, like I said, it's been 2 games now where all the centre-backs are kind of fit that are in the running to start in that back 2. And it's 2 games running that he has been the odd one out. This would be the 3rd time in a row now. So, what does it mean for the future? Vandenberg does have the advantage of age on his side, but Pinnock has the advantage of being left-footed and playing that left side of the centre-back pairing. So, it depends on what Thomas Frank really values more. I think Vandenberg might be a little nimbler, like a little bit more fleet of foot at this point of his career. And maybe that's a part of what's making the choice, because while Collins isn't slow, he's also a bit longer in the tooth. So, maybe he wants a balance there, a little more athletic, nimble, player in that role. Maybe, I don't know. I'm only speculating, but I think it's going to be interesting. 6 games left. How many starts does Ethan get for these last 6 games? Is going to be interesting to keep watching and tracking. All right, people. So we're going to move on to the next fixture of the day, which is going to be Crystal Palace and Bournemouth. So in this fixture, people, Crystal Palace, of course, coming off of a double game week where they had some struggles. They lost both games. One, I think they got 5-2 from City, and then lost in midweek as well to Newcastle. Got blitzed again in that game. So conceded quite a few goals in this past week to 2 teams that, to be fair, are flying at the moment. So this week they will be facing Bournemouth, a team that's been quite up and down of late. And we'll see how they fare in this one. But they'll be at Selhurst Park this time. Both games were away, one at Etihad, one at St. James Park, 2 very tough places to play. So they'll be back somewhere where they're a lot more familiar and they're usually a lot better. 15 games played in this series, 6 wins for Palace, 4 for Bournemouth, and 5 draws. The last game was a draw. It was 0-0 as well at the Vitality in December. I was in that Christmas period where sometimes you have these type of games to a little too much Christmas dinner, and then it's a bit flat. This 0-0 was kind of the case back then. And then, there have always been pretty low scoring affairs, and the winner usually keeps a clean sheet. That's been the trend over the last 5 fixtures of this actual series. Then when you look at the form, Crystal Palace had a decent run of form going, win, draw, win, and then 2 losses in the last 2, as I said, conceding 10 in those last 2. Bournemouth also kind of wobbling of late. 2 losses, 1 to Ipswich, 1 to Brentford, 2 draws, 2 all with West Ham and Spurs, and then last week getting a 1-0 clean sheet, which I think that was like their first clean sheet in about 10 games as well. So that probably felt real good to the manager Iraola there. Positions are like this: 12th place Palace, 8th place Bournemouth with 2 more wins, but Palace with 1 more draw. So they're not that far apart in the table. Then we have average goals per match: Bournemouth with 1.63, Palace with 1.28 goals conceded per match. Bournemouth a little better, 1.25 to Palace 1.41. But Palace has 2 more clean sheets on the season. They both create the identical amount of chances per match, 2.06. Goals scored, Mateta now up to 13. Kluivert having the season of his career so far with 12 goals. Evan Nielsen, first year in the Prem, getting closer and closer to those double digits. I believe he will get there. Eze up to 8 assists now, Kluivert with 6, and Kirkes, the well sought after left back, at 5. Daniel Munoz has had a really good season as the right wing back. He has a bunch of tackles, 106 this season. So that's pretty much the form, the tail of the tape with the stats, leading stats people and all of that. And now it's time to do the most important phase of this preview, and that is pick the prediction for the game. So Crystal Palace, Bournemouth. I think Palace wobbling right now, conceding 10. I happen to think that those just fell on some teams that just found something on the couple of days. I think Newcastle has been pretty consistently battering teams lately. City maybe not as much, but you can see a difference in their form of late. So I'm going to put it down more to the teams they faced. I don't think Bournemouth is in that same stratosphere in terms of how they're playing currently. Had a good win last week. I thought they really kept Fulham quiet for the most part, but I don't know if they'll be able to do the same with Crystal Palace tomorrow, especially at Selhurst Park. So I'm going to actually say that Crystal Palace bounce back tomorrow, and get the win. So I'm going to say Crystal Palace wins this one 2-1. 2-1 victory for Palace tomorrow. Upsetter. Nitro going for the draw. I was thinking draw as well, but picking a winner this time. Evan Nielsen goal, Semenyo assists. Book it. Yeah, man, dropping the score predictions for the Crystal Palace Bournemouth game. Yo, CK, what go on, my brother? Big up yourself, you know. Glad to say you can forward in the building tonight. I've only done the Brentford Brighton game and the Palace Bournemouth game if you want to stick around and drop your predictions. But blessings to you, my brother, and respect again for being a member of the channel. Each and every one of you, remember, you can hit the join button to really support. It's $1.99 a month, people, but it's just a way to show your support. And once we get to a certain number of members, we'll start to drop some more exclusive members only content where maybe we'll divulge some information that everybody can't hear, and we'll have a little set of us that will kind of know some things before people. Is it? So yeah, 1-1 Brentford game. That's what Duke said. So Duke is trying to relinquish the title of Donkey of the Week. So his first effort is a 1-1 game. Max City says 3-1 to Bournemouth. Damn. So Palace going to continue to concede a bag of goals. 1-0 Brentford. All right. Now moving on to the next. Yo, I don't know what me I do. All right, people. Moving on to the next fixture. This is a team that I think is finding their form at the right time, and that is, of course, Manchester City. So Everton will host them, and Everton is also a team that I think has found some serious form as well. Under David Moyes, they have, been almost, dare I say, a revelation. Yes, they have drawn a lot of games, but the fact that they haven't lost barely any, definitely has to be a testament to what Moyes has been able to do. 55 games played in this series, 26 wins for City, 18 for Everton, 11 drawn matches. Earlier this season, Everton were able to get a 1-1 result against City, which is practically amazing. They were able to get this result, to be honest. How? 24 shots. I was looking at who played on this day. Haaland was around. Everton probably had Dwight McNeil. No, it was out already. So I'm going to have a lot of the same people. Not Seamus though. O'Brien start playing out. So yeah, that was the fixture earlier in the season, but this time it will be at Goodison Park. This will be, one of the last few games at Goodison Park ever. So I'm sure the atmosphere will be lit. Everton, as you can see, 1 loss in 5, only to the title holders elect. They did win last week away to Forest. That was a big blow to Forest's chances of Champions League. And they have 3 draws around that, one with Arsenal, second place team, then West Ham and Wolves as well, 1-1 draws. But one constant in these Everton games, low scoring affairs. Man City, they have been able to, win 2 of their last 5, 2 draws as well with 1 loss. So not really necessarily setting the place ablaze, but unbeaten in their last 4, and really look dominant in the second half of that game against Crystal Palace and parts of the first, to be fair. So it's going to be an interesting one. I think 2 teams that are figuring things out a bit late in the season probably, but you can see that they're much better than they have been in the past this season. Big gap in position though, 13th for Everton, and that's mainly due to the poor start under Sean Dyche, the last manager. City have double the amount of wins. Everton have double the amount of draws. That's crazy. Both teams have lost very similar amount of games though. 9 for City, 10 for Everton. That's crazy as well. Goals scored, that's a big gap there. Almost a full goal difference in terms of goals scored per match. But Everton definitely with this slightly stingier defense, 1.19 to 1.31. 10 clean sheets for Everton to only 9 for City. That's probably something that we look up and see when's the last time Everton had more clean sheets than City. Even though Everton every season seem to be up there, especially with Pickford in goal, he's always up there in those rankings. Chances created per match also a gap of about 1. So the main difference here is going to be, how clinical can Everton be in front of goal, because clearly they're not going to create as much as City do over the 90 minutes. Goals scored, Haaland still leading the way, even though he's out right now. Savinho, who has struggled to start of late, has 8 assists. De Bruyne with 7 seems to be picking up steam as he enters the final few games of his Man City career. Of course, they still have the FA Cup to play for and try to win. So hopefully he can leave with a trophy for his adoring City fans. But yeah, Everton hosting City, I think it's a tough one, because obviously history and recent history will say City, no doubt. But I think Everton just have something about them currently in terms of like finding a way to get results in matches. And I just wonder if they'll be able to do the same tomorrow. City, I think, are still a bit vulnerable to certain things. And I think Everton do possess, the skill set that could cause harm, especially them being, somewhat comfortable out of possession, getting their shape correct, and then the likes of Ndi Harrison. We saw McNeil come off the bench, and his counter-attacking through pass really caused the goal that won the game. So I'm sure he'll be another option because he does provide a lot more quality than Harrison. Harrison is a little more action-packed, but that quality that Dwight McNeil brings just can't really be replicated definitely not by Harrison. So, I wouldn't be surprised if we see McNeil a bit earlier in this one, but maybe not ready to start as yet. But all that being said, people, I think Omar Marmoush, finally scored away from home the other day. I think he will, since he's broken that voodoo, he'll probably get on the score sheet tomorrow. But again, I do think that will be low scoring. So I'm going to say Everton lose a rare game under Moyes, 2-1 to Man City. But it's going to be close. It's going to be a close game, and they will get a goal as well. But 2-1, I'll say. 2-1 to City, that is. Nick is back. Been a while, bro. What's up? 1-1 first game. Palace 2-1. All right. 3-1 City. Yeah, going for a little closer one. Nitro, agree with the 2-1. Pristina there, but I guarantee you Pristina go pick Everton. Yo, why do I keep doing that? 1-1. All right. So hold on, Max City. Are you a City fan? Is that why you name Max City? Right now, I have nothing to do with that. I just assume say you're a City fan because it's a Max City fan it. But maybe not still. Yeah, man, you can't be donkey if you don't play, so good tactics. Well played, laddie. Well played. All right, so let's see. All right, so that's the Everton City game. The next game at 10, we have 4 matches at the same time tomorrow morning. West Ham, Southampton. I wouldn't wrong anybody for saying that this is the game they might not see in the 10 o'clock window. West Ham and Southampton definitely not two of the teams that have been, high on anybody's watch list this season. 43 games played in this series, though, quite a few. West Ham with the edge, 21-12 with 10 draws overall. West Ham did win the first game at St. Mary's on Boxing Day 1-0. And the last time they played at the London Stadium In 2023, they also won 1-0 in April. So is that a good omen for them going into this one? We shall see. Both teams definitely limping to the finish line this season. Graham Potter, really didn't give. I can't even call it a manager bounce what they got from him. I will say that their performances got better. Can't say that the results changed so much. But yeah, they're winless in their last 5. They do have 2 draws though with Everton and Bournemouth. They've lost to Liverpool, Wolves, and Newcastle. Southampton did draw with Palace, but that's around 4 losses. 1 to Liverpool, Wolves, Spurs, and Aston Villa. Home and away, it doesn't matter where they play. They seem to be able to drop points everywhere. They are in last position. West Ham in 17th, which normally with 6 games to play, you'd feel a bit worried about that position. But to be honest, they have quite a sizable gap now from 17th to 18th, and barring a tremendous collapse, they will be safe next season as far as I'm concerned. Southampton have 26 L's this season, people. Out of 32 matches, 26 L's. That's crazy. Goals scored per match, neither team really scoring a bag of goals, but West Ham at least scoring a bit over 1. Southampton 0.72 on the season and conceding almost 2.5 per game, with West Ham at 1.69. Clean sheets 6 for West Ham, 2 for Southampton. Chances created per match, not so bad for Southampton, 1.28, 1.5 for West Ham. Of course, West Ham leading most of the goal scoring and assist charts. But yeah, I don't know, man. This one is a tough one to call. West Ham not really playing for much. Maybe they're just playing for the manager at this point, see who he'll want to stick with going forward. I do think that he'll be sticking around. They won't get rid of him after the season. He did right the ship somewhat, got them safe. It looked like they would be, waffling around the relegation area all season. He got them away from that at least. So to give him some credit. It was partly because the teams in the relegation zone just kept on losing. It's not like they really put on any big run of games where they won. Did have a good result against Arsenal, so you have to give them that in this run-in. So, but I think Southampton, bro, I just don't see how I don't know how I can pick them to do anything. How can I? I think Kudus, Bowen, they'll have the quality at least to get over the line in this one as far as I'm concerned. So, West Ham rarely keep clean sheet. Will they keep one today? No, Mateus Fernandez and somebody will create something. So 1. But I think West Ham score 3 goals. I think Bowen has one of his better days tomorrow. So 3-1. Fulkrug look like he's fit as well, scoring some goals. He might get another one tomorrow. So 3-1 to West Ham, Southampton. Pretty much inevitable at this point. They're going down. So yeah, 3-1. No, bro, it have nothing to do with City. I'm a Barca fan. Okay, cool. Lati started 2 games now. Good to see him back. Yeah, I saw he started today. Played well as well. Kept a clean sheet. Second time in a row him start at centre back in a 4. 3-1 West Ham. So we agree upon that one. The Max City. Hammers 2, Southampton 0. All right. Let's move on to the last fixture. And this is definitely probably, I would say, the pick of the week for fixtures this week. 2 teams on really good form in the league. And, overall, Aston Villa and Newcastle. Of course, Villa, in the semi-finals of the FA Cup. Newcastle are the League Cup champions this season. And both teams definitely in a good position to secure top 5 at the end of this season. So Aston Villa and Newcastle have played a whopping 55 times in the league. 27 wins for Newcastle, 12 for Aston Villa, with 16 drawn games. Earlier this season at St. James Park, like they do to a lot of teams, 3-0 for Newcastle. In December, Boxing Day as well, 3-0 Newcastle over Aston Villa. Form guide, as you can see, Villa, 4 wins on the bounce. Newcastle, 5 wins on the bounce. As I said, in the Premier League, these are the 2 form teams right now. So, like I think and said earlier, I think this will be the pick of the matches this week. Right now, Aston Villa, it says seventh, but that's a bit misleading. Literally a win over Newcastle, and they're 1 point behind Newcastle, and they move all the way up to fourth with other results going their way. They have a three win gap, right? But they have 4 more draws, so that lessens that gap a bit right there. Um, Average goals scored per match, Newcastle has the edge there, almost 2 goals per match, one of the highest scoring teams in the league, 1.53 for Villa. Goals conceded as well, Newcastle slightly better at 1.25, Villa at 1.44. 11 clean sheets on the season, so they're definitely getting up there in the clean sheet statistic as well in the league. 6 clean sheets for Aston Villa. Villa do create a few more chances per match at 2.31 to 2.16. Isak leading the way. Assists now, Murphy all the way up to 11. Morgan Rogers with a great season as well, 7 assists. Ali Watkins, 14 goals, even though he has been relegated to the bench. And Harvey Barnes, who has been out a long portion of the season, showing that maybe he's a bit more productive than the person who has been playing most of the season on that left-hand side, which is Anthony Gordon. Barnes getting a run of form of late and has been banging in the goals. I want to say about 5 of his 9 goals have come in the last month. So yeah, he's definitely stepped up in this portion of the season when Gordon had some injury and suspension issues. Harvey Barnes stepped in and filled in greatly. And to be honest, I think it's going to be tough moving forward for them to bench him. Gordon's going to have to work his way back in. Murphy can't get benched right now. And I think based on the form of Barnes, you can't bench him either. So yeah, it's going to be tough for Anthony Gordon to have to, work his way back into the team. Probably wouldn't have seen that in his future at Newcastle. But yeah, you have to just play who's playing well. And, I think it would be shocking if they were to bench either Murphy or Barnes right now. And of course, Isak's going to play through the middle. So that's how this one is going. I think, as I said, this is going to be the best game of the week. I think the big thing to look for is, Newcastle, it's not like they just sat around doing nothing during the midweek. They did have a game on Wednesday as well to play. But it was quite an easy game for them. It was a 5-0 win at home to Palace. Yes, they played it. They exerted themselves, but I don't think it would have been so much of an exertion. No, definitely not more than what Aston Villa would have gone through. Yes, one day earlier, but I think their exploits, playing that game, it would have been worse. And I think what's going to be important as well is what Emery does with his squad. Like the likes of Marlin, was not even in the Champions League squad, so he's fully fresh and been scoring goals of late. But Emery seems to like him off the bench to come and cause havoc. So does he continue that? Do the likes of Bailey, who didn't get any game time, do you see him feature in this one? So it's just going to be about, does he stick with what's been working, the Rashford and the Rashford up front? Does Asensio start this game instead of not starting against PSG, which I thought was a bit surprising. I figured Asensio would start in that game, but he didn't. So yeah, it's just going to be interesting to see what Unai Emery goes with. He's been playing Matson in the Premier League when Digne plays in the Champions League. Does that continue? Because I think he's going to have to get everything right if they do win this game. Even though I know Newcastle is much better at home, I think of late the game has been traveling with them on the road as well. So it's a tough one to call, people. One that has a lot of implications for this top 5 race. I think Villa, it's more of a win. It's more of a must-win game for Villa as far as I'm concerned, because I do think going into the home stretch of the season, they have a little bit harder schedule. So, a game like this where they can get 3 points on a rival in their vicinity, they would want to protect their home base and get the 3 points, I would think. So I would say it's a little more pressure on them to get the 3 points. Newcastle, if you ask them, they probably wouldn't agree or admit that a point would be okay for them. But I do think if it is a point, Villa would be the more disappointing team, right? So how does that play in? Not sure. Do I go? Because both teams are doing well. Both teams are hot. But Newcastle, when you really analyze, they haven't played anybody on that great of a form, they played Man U at home. in between European fixtures, so that was kind of tricky. Leicester away is not tough. West Ham away this season is not tough. Brentford at home, that was probably their most challenging game, but they still got over the line there. Villa at Villa Park will be a bigger challenge. The crowd will be rocking as well. I'm sure even though they dropped out of Champions League, they'll be appreciative of the effort, in their first season back in the Champions League for eons. They, got to the quarterfinals and pushed the team that they lost to the brink. So you have to applaud the effort. But look, I'm gonna go with the team that's just a little bit hotter right now, and that's Newcastle. Part of me want to say draw, man. You know what? Desmond 2-2. Draw, I say. Because I think Newcastle going to win, but I think the Villa Park, I think the Villa Park will have something to do with it. Nick said West Ham 2-0. All right. Aston Villa 2, Newcastle 4 is a runaway train at the moment. Yeah, I could see it, but I don't know, man. I think Villa going to turn up. I'm tempted to say 3-3 because I think our bag a goal going to score. City 2-0. And West Ham 1-0. Crystal Palace and Bournemouth, Duke. That's the only one I'm going to see. Bless up Chris Smith, what go on? There, Yeah, man, I was tempted to go 3-all as well, bro. Feel like a bag of goal. Yeah, play the over upon that one. The bestest documentary, up full. Yeah, man, we're above earth and we're thankful. We're above ground. 1-all. All right. And Aston Villa Newcastle, game of the week. That game should be really good. Glad says that it have its own little time slot, Should be a good game. And it's one of the few games where like both teams really have something to play for, All right, so moving into Sunday now. There's going to be 3 games in that early window on Sunday. The first one we're going to talk about is the West London derby, Fulham and Chelsea. And this one will be at the Cottage, Craven Cottage. Fulham. Let's get Fulham up and going on the screen. So Fulham, Chelsea, people. Fulham and Chelsea. All right, so Fulham, Chelsea. They have played this fixture 35 times and it's been quite a dominant Chelsea edge. 21 wins out of 35, only 3 wins to Fulham, 11 draws. Earlier this season, though, was one of those 3 wins for Fulham, a 2-1 win at the Bridge on Boxing Day. And this was right around the time when Chelsea started to lose their way in the league. I think this pretty much started that bad run for Chelsea that has seen them just fall down the table. Yeah, so Chelsea might have had the upper hand, but 2 of the last 5 games these teams have played, Fulham have gotten 2 of their 3 wins. But Fulham has been up and down of late, literally. Loss, win, loss in their last 5. But they do have probably one of the best wins of the season. Only the second team this season to beat Liverpool with a 3-2 home win. They did lose last week away 1-0 to Bournemouth. I thought it was a very toothless performance from them, to be honest. And they did lose to Arsenal away as well, 2-1, and Brighton away 2-1. So they have won at home twice, lost 3 times away. Today, lucky for them, or to Sunday, lucky for them this week, they'll be at home. Chelsea lost 2 draws and 2 wins in their last 5 matches. Just good enough to keep them right there in that top 5 race. They have dropped down, I think, to 5th now, though, or 4th. I can't remember if it's 4th or 5th, but they're still in the driver's seat. Just need to keep, doing better than those opponents right around them. Fulham is a little bit below, but, definitely they would want to be able to get 3 points in this game just to, keep their position where they are at least in the table. Yeah, I thought so. They have dropped to 6 now. Ninth is Fulham. They have 2 more wins. They've drawn the same amount of games. Goals per match, Chelsea right under 2 at 1.75, 1.47 to Fulham. Goals conceded, Chelsea a little bit better than them. They have 3 more clean sheets than Fulham. Chance created per match, 2.56 to 1.84. Palmer on 14 goals now for a few months. This is actually the first time he's really had a drought for Chelsea, to be honest. He's on 8 assists as well. Anthony Robinson on 10. He's been on 10 for a while, to be fair. Raul Jimenez with 10 goals. He has been splitting time of late with Muniz, so that's a tough one to call for all you fantasy owners. Who actually starts for Fulham. Nico Jackson is back in the lineup, so that's positive for Chelsea. I think their attack always looks better with him in the lineup. So Fulham, Chelsea definitely have it all to play for, but I'm going to be honest with you, people. I don't trust Chelsea's mentality right now, and I feel like Fulham, they kind of know it, and I think they're going to really be up for the game tomorrow because, as you can see, Chelsea has been a team that has battered them over the years, but they are turning the tide of late. 2 of those 3 wins in the history of this fixture in the Premier League have come in the last few times they have played, and I think they up the total to 4 wins now with another win this weekend, people. Chelsea gonna just continue to not keep the pace. I believe they're gonna be one of the odd teams out. I'm gonna predict the top 5 before the show is over, and you guys will see what I think will happen from this point on. So yeah, Fulham, giving them the win, people. I'm giving them the win. Exciting game. I'm gonna say Fulham wins this one 3-2. 3-2. Goals scored in this one, people. Sanchez gonna make a mistake again. Bless up Ponroy, Wagwan. Fulham 2-1. Chelsea losing to a Polish team at home in the Europa League is disgraceful, even if they went through. Yeah, man, that same thing. Reece James was pissed, bro. Man say, yo, I know we're supposed to feel good because we reached the next round, but Jano, this is some foolishness, so we'll keep up to that. Nitro said 2-2. I was thinking draw too, That was a Chelsea collapse on Boxing Day, that's true. 2-2. Yeah, because they scored both of those like in the 89th and 90th minute, right? 2-2. I don't really trust Fulham either, but I trust Chelsea less. All right, so that's the Fulham-Chelsea match. Now let's move to the next matchup Sunday morning. That's going to be another one of the teams that had some big games in the week. That's Ipswich hosting Arsenal. 11 times this match has been played in the Prem. 2 draws are the only result that hasn't gone the way of Arsenal. 9 wins for Arsenal. Still yet to beat Arsenal in the Premier League is Ipswich in their 11 times tried. Arsenal got a 1-0 day after Boxing Day. That was quite a lackluster game. I remember this being a game played in like second gear, basically. Ipswich actually had a few chances on the day, and Raya made some good saves. But yeah, prior to that, we hadn't played them since 2001-2 season, where we got 2-0 victories. So Ipswich struggled to score goals against us. I don't think that will change much. I think, yes, we have exerted ourselves a lot in the midweek, but I do think that the base of that defense, when you're talking about Kivior, Saliba, I also would expect him to probably maybe give Miles Kelly and Timber a rest. I know Calafiori was back in training. I don't know if he's quite ready to start yet, so more than likely we'll see the likes of Tierney and Ben White at wing back, which is fine. I think we are still capable of keeping a clean sheet if we make those 2 subs. What's going to be interesting is what he does with the midfield area. Declan Rice didn't really get a rest over the last 3 fixtures. I would be very surprised if Declan Rice starts this game, even though, he may want Declan to just stay in this 2-game-a-week thing and just make sure to sub him out maybe earlier than normal. Maybe that's what he will do. But it's going to be interesting to see what he does. How much does he rotate? Saka is just coming back. Do we play him from the start or use him off the bench? What really is Arteta's mindset? Realistically, he's not going to say this in the press conference that the league is done, but he knows in his heart and his mind that the league is done. But he's not gonna say that, but his actions could show that based on the team he selects. I'm gonna say, even with a lot of changes, I just feel like we have the quality to win the game. Maybe it spoils the clean sheet, but again, I don't think that that's gonna have so much of an effect on the clean sheet stuff. Probably will affect us in the attack more so than anything else. But I'm gonna say we still get a 2-0 victory. Yeah, I'm gonna go 2-0 Arsenal. They haven't scored on us in the last 4 times we play them. I think that will continue. So 2-0 to the Arsenal in this fixture. Maybe Trossard, who's pretty fresh, gets a goal. And, maybe we see a Raheem Sterling sighting and he gets one as well. Let's see. Or a Trossard brace, maybe. Nitro says 1-1. Ipswich and Arsenal. Arteta needs to play the B team. Yeah, we'll see what he does. I feel like the B team can still beat them still. Because Trossard will start probably Waneri, Sterling. That will be the front three. I would rest Marino as well, so I probably play Zinchenko. Oh, but the problem is Jorginho injured, Blow. So I'll probably start Partey then. I don't even know what the man going to do. We know him not going to play a bag of kids. I'm not going to do that. Yo, Atlanta Hawks look like them are going to knock out Miami. Wow. Yeah, I'm going 2-0 to the Arsenal people. Don't know about you guys, I never even look on the stats of these teams. Recent form, Arsenal does have beer draws. Victoria's Secrets. 1, 2, 3 losses, 1 draw, 1 win for Ipswich. Big win at Bournemouth as well. We have 3 more draws than them. Disgusting. We want to lose 3 times. Jeez, what a waste. It should be like 6 draws, 23 win. Literally half of them games they should have win. Average goals scored 1.78 to 1.03. Goals conceded 0.84. One of the stingier ones. 11 clean sheets to 2. And we create about 1 more chance per game. Of the 2 teams though, Liam Delap lead them in goals with 12. Martinelli up to 6. Havertz at 9. Heard recently Havertz could return before the end of the season, which would be great. If he could return by a Champions League semi, that would be lovely. Don't know if 2 weeks will be too fast, but we'll find out. I wouldn't put it past Havertz. He usually returns early from injuries, over his career. So let's see. Saka with 10 assists. Been stuck on 10 for a few months now, so would be nice for him to get the next one soon to get off of that 10. But I'm going with the 2-0 to the Gunners, people. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think. Next game on the docket, people, is mighty Man U. After the euphoria of Thursday night, they're back at Old Trafford again. In the league where they haven't had as much joy. They do play a Wolves team that under their new manager has been, this is what I think they have seen a new manager bounce, it has to be said. They were looking like they were definitely going to be in and around relegation. They have now passed even West Ham into 16th due to their recent form. When they played earlier this season at the Molineux, they got the better of them. Last season at the Molineux, Man U scraped by 4-3. Last year, Old Trafford, 1-0, 2-0, 1-0. So Man U has won 4 of the last 5, but Wolves did win the most recent game on Boxing Day, 2-0. This is the recent form in the league. Look at Wolves, a revelation. Who would have thought it? 4 wins on the bounce in the league for them. Yes, they have played, 2 of the bottom 4 teams. And also Spurs, who is in 15th or 14th now. So they have played who they played, but you still have to beat them. When they played these teams, they were probably all below them in the table anyway, besides Ipswich and Southampton. So, and they drew with Everton, who's drawn with everyone. Man U, It has to be said, the Newcastle game, a lot of experimentation going on. One eye on the Europa League. Draw with Man City was one of the worst games in the Manchester derby history, I would say. And then the Forest 1-0 loss wasn't a bad game for them, but they didn't do enough to create enough chances. But this is how it looks on the season. Man U now 3 points clear of them, which is remarkable to think. So a win here would put them level on points. Wolves, if Wolves were to beat them, goals scored per match, Wolves are actually averaging more goals per game. United is a little stingier though. Wolves, and it's gotten way better. At points in this season, they were up over 2 goals per game. So Vitor Pereira again helping with that. Of these 6 clean sheets, I'm pretty sure about 4 or 5 of them are under this new coach. Chances created per match 1.75 for United, 1.66 for Wolves, so not too far off there. And then goals leaders, both coming from Wolves, 14 and 12. No striker in sight for United. Maybe Harry Maguire should start, but Bruno on 8 and 9 assists, the most prolific in the assist chart. 8 Nori and Bellegarde, both with 6 assists on the season. So look, I think Man U will have that feel-good factor from Thursday. Sad to say the Premier League is a different competition and Wolves is on a different level right now. So I think it's going to be a changed team. I don't think it will be the best foot Man U can put forward. Cunha is fully back now, back off the bench last week, expecting to start this week and cause some more havoc. So I'm going to say this one ends 2-1 to Wolves at Old Trafford, and the fans won't even be that upset. Or they shouldn't be. Cut them some slack, Man U fans. Man, them bust from where they are. But I think this is going to really tell. Thursday to Sunday, not the biggest turnaround. Yes, they didn't travel. But yeah, man, the emotional roller coaster, the highs of that game, it's going to be hard to pick back up and play to your level in this fixture on the weekend. So I'm going to say that messes them up, bro. 2-1 Wolves. We're gonna play the percentages. Nick go one further, say 3-1. All right, what am I saying now? Jeez. Arsenal can't mess around. Top 4 isn't a guarantee at this point. That is true. Oh, so you say 2-1 for Arsenal and 3-1 for Wolves. Duke said 4-1 to the Gunners. So Duke reach all the way down this up. Bournemouth. The last game before that was Bournemouth 1-0. And man gone all the way to Gunners now. Did I get Nitro? Yep, I did. Max City said 5-1 to the Gunners. We like that. We'll take that. Man U Wolves 2. All right, Nitro. Chelsea 1 love. Chelsea with the clean sheet. You're mad. Wolves 3-1. I got that one already. Man U 1-0. Man U playing the kids tomorrow. Yeah, I heard that United will be playing in Championship next season if not for Bruno. That's a fact. Villa 2-1. Alright, so I'm gonna get the whole of Duke score them now. Max City just don't give me the Man United Wolves one yet. Everybody else were there and I give me the scores. I'm gonna get them. I don't know what Red Skull and Hot Chili there today. Hope the G them good. And probably I look for my run out later, but of early morning, so I'm gonna try to get this done. Alright, so Liverpool and Leicester, they've played 35 times in the league. Liverpool, as you would expect, 20 wins. Leicester with 9, 6 draws in the total amount of the games they have played. Miami up 3 again. Wow, this is a back and forth game. Liverpool won 3-1 at Anfield on Boxing Day. It looks like all the Boxing Day fixtures they will play back this week. Trey Young, bro. Man, I always do some madness in the playoffs and play in. Miami up 1, 47 seconds left. It's going to be a good ending. Tyler Hero, pull up, miss. Hawks get the rebound. Give to Ice Tray. Ice Tray down one. 30 something second lead. Of course, he want to shoot that three there. Fine back trainer, man. Hey, black go up to that idiot, yeah. Just take a little idiot hook shot. We missed that, man. Trey can't believe him not get back the ball. Alright, so this is the recent form. It's gonna look a lot different. 4 wins and a loss for Liverpool. So even though they do have that loss on their record to Fulham, they have done well to get maximum points in all the other 4 games of the last 5. Just extending that gap at the top just to make sure that there's no chance for a little late surge. I mean, yes, there's still a chance, but literally, if Arsenal were to lose this week and Liverpool win, basically it's mathematically clinched. So they're pretty much well on their way, and with a game away to Leicester as their next game, can pretty much book them getting the 3 points. But stranger things have happened in this league in the past, and to Leicester's credit, after going a million games without scoring, they did score 2 away to Brighton and draw the game last week. So maybe they found something, but let's see. You're going to see a big discrepancy in a lot of these stats. Over 2 goals scored per match, under 1 goal conceded, while Leicester's up over 2. Only 1 clean sheet out of their 32 games for Leicester. 13 clean sheets on the other hand for Liverpool. They create almost double the amount, or a little more than double the amount of chances per match. And Salah, again, video game numbers 27 and 18, even though the last, I would say, 3-4 fixtures in the Premier has been pretty quiet. Still up there with some mad numbers. Liverpool players in everything. Leicester not even leading tackles because McAllister have the same amount. So let them lead everything. Miami free throws up 1. 15-second leave. So yeah, people, no need to overthink this one, The question is, will Liverpool get the clean sheet? I don't think so. They've been lapsing of late, just not, and to be expected. I mean, them lead so big to but I don't think they score 2 though. So I'll say 3-1 Liverpool. I think Salah get a goal for the first in a while. Been a little while since him score a goal, and probably do for 1. So yeah, 3-1 Liverpool. Easy enough. Easy enough. Max City said 3-2 to Wolves. So a lot of people going with Wolves in that one. Interesting. Max City said 4-love. Nitro said 5-love. 4-1. Nick said 4-1 Leicester. Mad. That's quite an upset, Nick. All right, next one. Next one we're going to go with is the last one that we're going to actually predict this week. There are 2 more fixtures during the week. It's going to be Man City Villa, which is a nice game, which we'll just talk about briefly, and Arsenal Crystal Palace. But for the purpose of the prediction table of the week, we're just going to cap it at the 10 games. The ones that are this game week, not the replayed games. So this is going to be Spurs and Nottingham Forest. This will be the 10th fixture. This is the last one we're going to actually predict. This is another one that on paper you'd have thought would be a much bigger game in terms of the top 5 race, but Spurs have not held up their end. If you look at the history of this fixture, though, it's been quite even. Both teams with 7 wins and 1 draw out of the 15 matches played. 1-0 win at the City Ground earlier this season on Boxing Day again for Nottingham Forest over Spurs. And this is the last 5 games. Spurs with 3 L's out of those, 1 win and 1 draw, only beating the 20th position team, Southampton, in the process. Then Nottingham Forest, after 3 wins on the bounce, I think that was actually 4 wins because they won before that. And then they lost these last two to Villa and Everton last week. They really need to right the ship. They're currently in fourth, and with Newcastle, Chelsea, Man City, Aston Villa all breathing down their neck, they need to really get it together if they want to make this historic season so far for them count, as far as getting into European places, or getting into the top European competition, which is the Champions League. They were boosted by learning that the fifth place team will be there, but with it being so tight, I think it would have to be a top 7 for them to feel secure. But it is top 5, so they need to try to right the ship after those 2 losses. Can they do it against a Spurs team that more than likely will be fully changed as well, just like the Man United team? I think Forest is just getting a really good time to play Spurs, and they're going to take advantage of those things in this one. You can see the tail of the tape there with all the stats and everything. Forest, the better defensive team. Spurs creates a bit more chances and goals in the games. But Forest, I think the defense will tell. And I also think that Spurs will have their issues because they will have one eye to recovery from that game on Thursday. So for those reasons, people, I'm going to say Forest gets back to winning ways this week. I'm going to say Forest wins this one. I'm going to say Forest wins 2-1. 2-1 Nottingham Forest. Yeah, 2-1 Nottingham Forest. I was going to say 2-0, but Liverpool 3-0. Spurs 2-1. Just going to take time slipping out of the Champions League spots there in unfamiliar territory. You know, Max City, I was thinking this week would be another loss for them. But then when I really analyzed the whole Spurs situation, you know, their defense going to be mad. No Van de Ven, no Romero. You know, whoever did play fullback now go play again. So it's going to be rotation. You know, Archie Gray back at right back where I'm not really supposed to play. Hawks down by 2. Do they have the ball though is the question. I think they do. So what they call another timeout? The Hawks have the ball. This is an ice trade time, you know. This is when ice trade do some madness now. Forest 3-2 St. Nitro. Duke's a clean sheet 2-0. Duke have some Forest defender in them FPL. Trey to the basket. Oh, with 1.3 left, a layup. This one looks like it's going to overtime, people. 106. Even though Tyler Hero probably put off a shot now, it's good for a game winner too, you know. Or even Bam, top of the key. But you know it had to be Trey, whether he must put in up a 3 or going to the basket. Good layup though. Shield him with the body so he couldn't block the shot. Andrew Wiggins tall to, you know, man, but he couldn't reach it. Too easy though. Man never even make a move. Spurs 1-0. Alright, people. So that is it, you know. That's all the games that we're gonna predict for the week. But let's just take a look at those bonus fixtures that we have coming up also. So we have Tuesday, Man City, Aston Villa. Wow, this is a tough one, people. I feel like this game going to draw. I feel like it's going to be a 2-2. I feel like Villa going to draw both of their games this week 2-2. So I have them drawing with Newcastle 2-2 and I have them drawing with City away 2-2 as well. And then Arsenal Crystal Palace. Interesting one, you know. I think for the Arsenal Crystal Palace game, I'm gonna say City and Villa both have FA Cup weekend, but I don't think they'll care. With the stakes being so high, that will be like a second FA Cup semi-final in the week for them. And then Arsenal, Palace, same thing with Palace. Now, Palace have the FA Cup on the weekend, not much to play for. Will that play into the hands of Arsenal? Hopefully. Maybe they play a slightly weaker team, Eddie and Ketia instead of Mateta, those type of things, maybe. So, yeah, because of all them factors and Crystal Palace going into that FA Cup weekend, probably wanting to, be ready for that. Palace is in the FA Cup semi-final, right? I'm not making that up, am I? Yeah, because it's Villa. No, it's Palace, Forest, and Villa City. That's how it go. How it go? No, it's not like that. Let me tell you how it is. Let me tell you how it is, people. Yeah, Forest City and Villa Palace. So it go. Forest City, Villa Palace. Yeah. But them wickedy. So Palace play Wednesday and Villa play Tuesday. And then match play Saturday. I guess one of them had to play Wednesday, I guess. But yeah, I'm going with an Arsenal win and a 2-2 draw. Arsenal will win this game 2-2. Yeah. But those aren't in the prediction, people. So I'm not jotting that down for anybody else. But I will tell you, I think that Man City and Villa are going to draw and Arsenal are going to beat Palace next week. Yeah. All right, people. So before we let go for the evening, don't look like we're going to quite reach to the 2-hour mark because, as I said, Mans have some things for to sort out. Long day tomorrow. Matches to play and whatnot. So this is the table as it stands. Not very exciting down here. 6 points, 6 games left. It's a 14-point gap. So mathematically, they could win 6 in a row and get to 38 points. No, wait. And get to 39 points actually. But realistically, does people see Ipswich being able to win their next 5 games? I guess it's possible, but I wouldn't bet on that happening, right? So yeah, for all intents and purposes, these 3 teams are probably relegated, to be honest. And we have West Ham and Wolves, 2 points worse off than Tottenham in 15th place. Man U up to 14th now with 38. Everton better than them on goal difference, still on 38 as well. Crystal Palace and Brentford both on 43. Brentford with a superior goal difference puts them in 11th. Brighton and Fulham and Bournemouth all on 48 points. A couple of wins on the bounce for them could set them back on a course to potentially get up to the top 5 if results can go their way. Aston Villa, Chelsea on 54. They are the one on the outside looking in currently, but shouldn't feel too badly as one win will get them right back in the mix, especially when you look at Newcastle on 59. Now a 5-point gap from Villa and Chelsea. It's really going to be important for Villa to get those 3 points over Newcastle and just cut that gap down to 2 as they move into the final 5 games of the season. Arsenal in second will just be hoping that these teams playing each other this week, damages them a bit. They will have the chance to go to 69 points if they're able to get maximum from the next 2 fixtures that they play. And who knows, Liverpool shockingly lose to Leicester and we go into a 7-point gap with Liverpool having a game in hand. You never know. You never know. But yeah, Leicester ain't going to beat Liverpool. So let's not even talk about that, people. But as I said, this top 5 race should be pretty exciting moving forward. And I will say this. When I look at the fixtures that are left in this season in terms of the Premier League, right? One thing that is for certain teams do have a tougher running. It's pretty clear. We're looking at these the other day on IMAX It Show, and when we really broke down the fixtures that are left this season, one thing that stood out to me was the fixtures that Aston Villa had compared to everybody else. So just to go through, right? They play Newcastle this week. They play Man City next week, right? Or this coming week on Tuesday. Then they have the FA Cup. semi-final. Then next week they host Fulham, team that on their day can cause some issues. Then the next game they travel to Bournemouth, right? So who knows as the fixtures go on, is Bournemouth even closer to the top five at that point? How big is that game for them, right? They still would want to play in Europe at somewhere. So whether that's the Conference League or the Europa League, right? And then the second to last fixture, Aston Villa face Tottenham. Now, we don't know what kind of state of mind Tottenham will be in. Will they be in a final of Europe coming up? What we don't know. Will they, they might want to get some continuity going into that final and be playing, their top of the line team going into that final. But that's going to be interesting to see. So that's usually a tough fixture, but we don't know what kind of frame of mind Tottenham will be in. And then they close their season at Old Trafford. So those last two games are really the ones that you have to put an asterisk on. What kind of position in the season will those two teams be in? If they have made it to the Europa League final, which they would face each other in, that is Tottenham and Man United, how serious do they take those final two Premier League games, knowing that they can't really make Europe and they can't get relegated, right? So that's going to be something to watch. But Aston Villa on paper, definitely with the tough running. Now, another team that I think is really going to have to buckle down if they want to get there is Forest. I think they do get over the line at Spurs this week. But then when you look ahead, they host Brentford. No gimme there. They have to travel to Crystal Palace, another one that will be a tough fixture for them. Forest then host Leicester in round 36. In the second to last game, they go to West Ham. And the last game of the season will probably be a top five decider, people. Probably will be the biggest game of that day. Forest will host Chelsea on the final day of the season. And I could see a scenario where if a team wins that game, whichever team wins potentially is in the top five. I could definitely see it playing out that way for sure. But for right now, people, I'm going to say based on what I see in the fixtures, I'm going to go ahead and say that Liverpool, Arsenal, Newcastle, and City of that top five are going to be in there. And I think the battle for that last spot is going to come down to, of course, Forest, Chelsea, and Villa. And in the end, I just think that Aston Villa is going to be ending up getting that fifth spot over both Chelsea and Nottingham Forest. Let me know in the comment section if you all agree after the show is over with what I had to say. So again, people, at the end of the season, my prediction for this top five race, Liverpool 1, Arsenal 2, I think Newcastle actually stays to keep third. Then I'm going to say that Man City actually gets fourth position and Aston Villa gets fifth position in this league table. I think those final two games for Villa being against those opponents is going to help them out because they're going to have their eyes on another prize and Villa will have theirs firmly set on getting into the Champions League through the Premier League. So I think that's going to go in their favor towards the end of the season. But yeah, let's see. Maybe Forest plays, proves me wrong. But I don't think they will, to be honest. All right, let's move on to the fantasy now before we head out of the show for the day. This is what we did last week in the league. We're still hanging on to third place. D. Madre is trying his best with his comeback clap team. I don't even know if he wants clap back anymore after what Slaughter's done, but maybe he still does. Sad to say, Biggs G, who is not here this evening, probably will drop his scores in the comment section, I'm sure. He's in second place, and they have really gotten a gap on me now. I'm 100 points behind Philip Clark, Badaman. I did have a good week last week, though, 88 points, not bad at all. I'd used my wild card the week before, loaded up with the Crystal Palace and Newcastle players, because I knew that they were playing multiple fixtures. And I still have my 3 Arsenal players for when they have their double game week this week. So I have a decent setup coming into the week, but Harvey Barnes, if I just captained him, it would have been an incredible week. But he got me 27 in his 2 fixtures. Isak wanted more out of the captaincy. He played 2 matches, got 11 points total out of those 2, doubled to 22 because he's the captain. Cunha straight back in my starting lineup, even after bench, getting 7. Sarr had 2 matches to get this 7, so not the best returns. And Munoz played 2 games and got me -1. So, it was an issue there. Mateta also played 2 games and only got 2 points in fantasy. That's poor. Salah got an assist, so he got 6. Livramento in his 2 fixtures, one was a clean sheet, and the other one was that 4-1 against Man United. So he did okay, I would say. And I was just, the one mistake on the week, Munoz I would have never benched because he had 2 games and he just go with the 2 games just in case. Maria, though, I really regret. But to be honest, that Forest goal, it was conceded so late. It was easy. It was about to be a nil-all game. And Maria would have been a decent choice with the clean sheet. Probably would have got bonus points as well because he did a lot of defending in that game. Miami's kicking their you-know-what to end this game. And then mash up the overtime. So they'll be the 8th seed against Cleveland and go home straight away. Ryan 8 Norris star. Should I start him? But anyway, people, based on that, the lineup looking decent for the week ahead. So yeah, we have made our adjustments and we're good to go. We're not going to show you that though. Move up and pick on one team, get your own ideas. All right, so this is the fantasy draft leagues that I'm in. As you can see, I'm doing quite all right in this one. Pickpocket FC in first. And this was the week we had last week. I picked up Harvey Barnes as well in the draft. I think I have him in every league right now because no one really had him because he was kind of under the radar. And then once Gordon got injured, I figured he would find some form playing these games, and he definitely has. So yeah, 27 points, we'll take it. Had Joe Linton as well. So really, Semenyo, Barnes, and Joe Linton carried the team, and Salah got me some extras. Everybody else just did the bare minimum, but that still got 65 points. And then in my other league, and this one, ND Hall in the chat is in here as well. I think he's in 4th place. You'll never walk alone. But there I am, Crystal Ball FC, with a big lead in this one, and really happy about this one because my other cousin been winning this league like every year. So feels good to just not even give him a chance to win. I think he's in last place this year. I don't know what happened to him, but yeah, he's not doing good at all. So I had Pope and Trippier and Bruno G and Semenyo, Cunha, Rajas. So yeah, everything worked out for me on this one. So I got 72 points. So it was a good fantasy week, getting 65 and 72 in the draft league with no captain bonus stuff, and then getting 88 in the FPL traditional league. Good league, good week for me in the Prem last week. Again, people, before we sign off for the evening, just want to wish a big maximum good luck. Good luck to the Arsenal women as they face Lyon tomorrow in the first leg. What if Man U win? If Man U win Confed, you mean if Man U win the Europa? Well, if Man U win the Europa, then, or if Man U or Tottenham win the Europa, then the 5th place team will actually go to the Europa. Yeah. So that is very true, I wasn't even thinking about that. So damn. So if that's the case, then I would say that because right now my prediction would be Villa coming 5th. So that means Villa would be in the Europa League then. Because I predict Villa to come 5th. So yeah, right now they're praying for Athletic Bilbao to win the damn Europa League. All these English teams. Iconic Arsenal women and men team playing French teams. Yeah, that's true. We're playing the best French men team and the best French women team. Lyon definitely is a better French team than PSG in the women's side, for sure. Full of Champions League. Oh, people, you know what? Before we sign off for the night, let me actually do this because we're coming down to the crunch of the Championship and League One and everything. So let's just take a look at the standings with just 3 games to play. Oh, so Red Skull, that's how it works? If the Europa League winner is from the EPL, how many places will EPL get in Champions League? Just ask the question, people. If a Premier League team wins the Europa League, the Premier League will receive 7 spots in the Champions League. This is because they will already have 4 from the top 4, plus an additional 5th awarded to the league with the best European performance. Okay, they've already gotten that. And the 2 winners of the Champions League and Europa League, if they finish. Okay. So the Champions League one would only be Arsenal, which won't finish outside the top 5, I don't think. And the Europa League one. So basically, they'll just get a 6th spot then. Okay, so basically just keep on passing to the next team if that team already qualified. Okay, so yeah, basically it wouldn't change anything for the top 5 then. So them no business. England then, all right, English teams and I can cheer for them. As an Arsenal fan, I mean, I wouldn't want Man U or Tottenham to win nothing, but of those 2 teams, I would rather Man U won, to be honest. Because yeah, I would just rather that. Would hurt Villa. Bless up all pre. Bilbao will handle Man few. I hope they do. Yeah, you're right, Skull. 6 teams. So they'll just add another team. RR same rather Tottenham. It's about time Tottenham win something. Yeah. I think if I any content creator deserves some expressions, the man suffer. Man suffer. Bring some wicked content and I just be a sufferation. All right, people, let me show you guys what's going on in the champ, because big result today for one of our reggae boys in the champ, man. Because we want him stay at least in the championship, So Amari Bell side, Luton, big win today. A 1-love victory. They were able to keep the clean sheet. There was a way to Derby, so it was basically a relegation 6-pointer. Got level on points with Derby, but they do have, a far worse goal difference, so they're still in that bottom 3. But hey, they have 3 games left and they're tied on points with safety. So, one win and a draw, that could be enough to keep them in this league for next season. Hull City, very close to that area as well with Casey Palmer. Oxford, we saw that Greg Lee was back on the bench today, so that's great to see. I didn't check back and see if he actually got in the game. So let me check that actually. They did end up losing 1-love to Leeds today. And I don't know if he came in or not. So yes, he did come in for Bennett. So that's a great sign to see. Hopefully these last 3 games, he can maybe get a start and start to ramp up the minutes a bit more. As you know, the final game of the championship is May 3rd. So, it doesn't look like Oxford will be in any kind of promotion area. So they should be done. Same goes for Casey Palmer. There's no relegation playoffs or anything. You're just relegated to League One. So there wouldn't be any extra games after the season is over. Isaac Hayden with Portsmouth, same goes for him. They had a big 5-3 win today over Norwich, and he did start that game and sub off in the second half. Sheffield Wednesday played today as well. They are safe. We have a couple of reggae boys there. One, of course, being injured. Won't be available, sadly, for this summer window for Jamaica. That is Deshaun Bernard. Definitely would have been one in the mix for us if he was fit. But they fell today 2-0 to Stoke. Let's see. Jamal had gotten a few starts of late. That's Jamal Lowe. But just seeing if he got any game time today. Let's see here. Lewis Baker started and played 90 minutes. And it looks like Jamal was not even on the bench today. So he must be carrying some type of knock. I know West Brom also lost today. They are Still in with an outside shot to maybe get into the top six, but I just don't see Coventry and the likes of Bristol dropping enough points for them to catch them. Coventry did have a little wobble a couple games ago, but they have gotten 2 wins and a draw from their last 3. Latibeaudiere has played in the last 2 as well, starting at centre back, so that's good to see. So it's looking like Lati will be involved in the playoffs if they can keep it together here moving forward. I think they have in their last 3 fixtures, it looks like this. They play Plymouth. They are down there in the relegation zone. Luton, Omari Bella and Luton, they will face as well. And you saw where they are in the table. And then we have the end of the season. That could be a huge one as Middlesbrough, the team that's chasing them right now for 6th, is the final game. They'll host them. So a lot left to play for in this championship, but it looks like Leeds and Burnley should be securing that top 2. Sheffield United still in there with a shout, but I think those 3 losses on the bounce pretty much kill their dreams for the automatic promotion. Sunderland looking safe in the playoffs, but Bristol and Coventry still with a little bit more work to do, as Middlesbrough is probably too close for comfort. I think West Brom and Millwall might have left it a bit too late. West Brom definitely should be kicking themselves. Look at that, 4 losses in the last 5 when they're so close to that playoffs area. Definitely not the time for that type of form. But that is the championship. Let's move now to the next level, and that would be League One. Of course, we have some players in League One as well that represent us. So we're just going to check and see, we're thinking about Unity Cup, when players going to be done. Similarly to Championship League One, last fixture of the season is also on May the 3rd. And that is mainly because they need to leave the time for the playoffs to happen and the playoffs final and everything. So they're ending close to around the time when the Premier League will finish. So again, when you look here, we have some players. We have a player at Peterborough who a lot of people have talked about potentially getting into the team soon. That is Malik Madasil. He's safe from relegation at this point. There are still 4 games left for him to play, but these relegation teams have 3. So hopefully they'll be far enough away to where none of these teams could potentially catch them. I think they'll be safe. You're looking at Barnsley. John Russell is there, playing really well this season. Even though his team lost today, he did play the full 90 minutes. Then we go into Charlton. We have a few players there as well. Karai Anderson, Kaheem Dixon, more so with the academy team, Dixon, but Anderson with the first team. Potentially Tyrese Campbell, the winger, as well. We've heard his name floating around. So yeah, Charlton looks like they're pretty much nailed on to be in this playoffs. So those players will probably not be available for the Unity Cup either. So yeah, just kind of thinking about what the Reggae Boys can use at the end of the season, trying to see what it's looking like. But Charlton looks like they will be a part of that playoffs going into the championship, which we would love to see, with so many potential Jamaicans and already representing Jamaicans in that Charlton team. You would love to see them get into the championship for next season. That would be great. All their values can raise up and they can get to a higher level of competition next season. That would be wonderful. So we will keep our eyes on these races going to the finish line. Of course, in this league, Wrexham has been pretty much in that top 2 all year. Now Wickham has passed them. That's going to be interesting to see if they can get back over them and not have to worry about the playoffs. Stockport as well. It must be said, we have a player that could potentially play for us. He played for us in a friendly where the rules were a bit more relaxed. So, the players did not have to have their books to play, passports that is. But of course, the goalkeeper from Stockport, Corey Adai, also having a good season in League One. 6'8" goalkeeper, huge man mountain of a keeper. He is also somebody that I have always advocated for. I think his situation is quite complicated as far as, retrieving all documents necessary. I think that's mainly been the issue with him. So yeah, I don't think it's a case where, he just doesn't really want to do anything. I just think it has proven to be extremely difficult for him to be able to work out the location of everything that he would need. So I'm not going to kill him, but I just know, Corey, I still think that you have the ability to help out the goalkeeping pool if you were ever able to sort out all your paperwork and stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. Skull the people them get familiar, you know. Anything work building, you have to work on, you know. I know me not to really have the clickbait and the, you know, not that, you know, some people are that for them thing. Me just kind of more people know say, yo, we're gonna get a nice ball game reasoning. And eventually the word will spread that that is it, you know. And I think the respect is there. Cause when I show my face at shows and thing, people usually, you know, them know some now just chat one bag of foolishness. Yeah, man, Coventry looking good for the playoffs. We say rather Atletico. No, me don't want Spurs win neither. It will be the end of them lads. If he get relegated from championship, will impact his national call up. Who you attack? Oh, you talk about Amari. I mean, I don't think it should, personally. I mean, especially I like people always say Greg Lee better. Well, not always, but some people think Greg Lee better. I think it's just a style thing. I think they prefer Greg Lee's style because I'm a bit more aggressive and thing. I think Amari Bell is still a better footballer than him, you know? It's just I've always said that though. I watched Russell's match today. Man is a giant in the midfield. Had an average game still along with the rest of the squad. Yeah, today's performance wasn't so good. I didn't get to watch all of the game, but I saw a good 30-minute spell in the first half. And it just never looked like him team was at the races. But to be fair, that's apart from that 4-1 where he scored a brace, they've had a lot of games like that of late, you know? Yeah, Baker been playing a lot since he go back to Stoke. Like start pretty much all the time. And Casey as well, since he been back. Basically, since after the break, he's played every game. He didn't start the first game, but then basically he's been starting since then. Oh, speaking of which, people, I saw a wicked video on YouTube today. Let me see if I can find it. I'm gonna share it in the comment section. Let me see. So, where's my watched list? Where is my watched list? History. I watched it earlier today. Let me see. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Here it is. I'm going to share this in the comment section, people. So there's this thing called, I don't know if you never see this feature called League of 72, where the man them like some vlogger might go to a team and play. The vlogger might go to a team and play, like do some skills challenge against some of the ball of them. So this brother Steve the madman from one of them content show, Filthy Fellas, he went to Hull City, and it was Joe Gelpart and Casey Palmer were the two pros that he was going against. So yeah, watch the little thing there. It's about 15 minutes. They must have do some like free kick, penalty, control and finish outside the box, and then the crossbar challenge and some other things. Nice little content still. Can see Palmer take some free kick over the wall and thing. Only Mothersill, yep, and Charlton players, yep. Mothersill and Russell should be available based on position. Agree, excellent show for real and Good Friday. Respect, yes. To all the Christians out there, happy Good Friday, happy Easter weekend. Yes, people, you know, I hope you know, did what you're supposed to do over the time. And whatever you sacrifice, you know, stand true to it and make sure you see it all the way through. Duckland say Lee better. Yeah, look, these two players have split opinions right throughout. But I just feel like Amari better. Like overall, Greg Lee fit for CONCACAF style. Yeah, people always say it's a style thing, it's an aggression thing, it's a power thing. But I don't know, bro. We're not doing MMA. Amari better defensively, Lee better going forward. Angling, can he travel? To my knowledge, no. The last time we played, because remember he was in the team for the first leg, but then wasn't in the team for the second leg. Last time we played USA. So to my knowledge, no. So all them big goal they must score. I don't know how that's going to help him when it's time to play in the USA in all these matches, you know. But maybe, hey, maybe it's sort now. I don't know. Maybe it's sort now. You think Spurs beat the next team? It would be such a Spurs thing to do to lose to this Norwegian team, you know. I swear. Because Lazio let me down. Because even on the show, when I did that day, before I come off, I say, yo, because someone asked me, Bodo Glimt to go do it. I say, no, man, Lazio go find the goal and then win in extra time. Well, the man find the goal, 2 hours late, and then the man them take some of the worst penalty me ever see. You know, the penalty shootout and lose. So, yeah. Yeah, man, Bodo Glimt play upon turf, you know. I know Spurs ball them ever get injured. So maybe that you never know. You never know still. But people you don't know, we kind of did, you know, get a little brought in at the end, talk about some of the lower league them because, you know, we're kind of selfishly looking at what the reggae boys them going on with. So yeah, you don't know, as we get closer to the Unity Cup, stay tuned to Gooner TV. We'll definitely be shedding more light on the players available and, you know, what we think can look like a decent Unity Cup squad. You know, we've been seeing a lot of messaging from the YouTube space about this Unity Cup. So it's going to be interesting to see which YouTubers were on the right path. I'm hearing some saying that it's going to be predominantly JPL. I'm hearing others saying that we're going to, you know, make use of the fact that it's a true friendly situation where, you know, it won't be a case where you can't make more than 6 subs and, you know, the rules as far as who can represent might be a little more relaxed, which would then open the door to some that maybe are in process or still considering doing the process. I know some people are going to hate that idea. They want everybody that represent to have them passport, but hey, look, if the rules are going to be that way, you know, remember this is how we found, you know, some of the players that formed the core of the team. Now, you know, it was a situation where we got a friendly, where they, you know, they were able to relax things a bit. You know, Latibeaudiere played Catalonia. You know, Omari has not, you know, fully pledged his future to Jamaica, but we had him at a time based on playing a game of similar nature. That's how I know about Korea Dai as well. He played, I think that was the game in Africa when he played. He wasn't fully ready yet, but he played in that game as well. So, you know, it's one of those things where, or was it that game? Which game in Korea did I play? I want to say he played that 1 hour game. When we went to, was it Cameroon? Yeah, I think it was that game that he played in. And he might have played in the Catalonia game too. I know Dylan Barnes played. And I want to say he came off and Adai came on for him or something like that. I don't remember how it going. I don't remember which game, but Corey Adai played in one of those games where, you know, that's the first time we got to see Latibeaudiere and a few others that we haven't seen since. I think Johnson, Clark, Harris, Jordan Cousins. Yeah, so you never know, man. You could find, you know, some more pieces to the puzzle. You know, I got some good news from some good source about some players. Once we get a little closer to the time when it's pretty much, you know, the time when I know that the correspondence to the clubs have gone out and all of that, I'll be a little bit more liberal with the information in terms of the names. But I'm gonna hold those close to the vest for now. But yes, before the squad is revealed, I'm gonna have some names that we can, I know for sure, are either processed or, you know, a long way into the process. So we can definitely look forward to some of these players representing soon. And when I say players, you know, not just names that have been floating around that, you know, maybe people aren't so excited by, because I have noticed that a lot of the fans kind of look down on the lower league players, even championship players. People are saying, you know, championship, man, we need some EPL baller, you know. So, but I can assure you, people, some of these names are all top. You know, whether it's in France, Italy, England, we're talking EPL, Serie A, League 1. So I think it's some names that definitely are of a standard that people will be more happy with. So that should be good news coming forward. My main goal, people, just want to pray. Want to pray say Pika do the right thing. Pray, because apparently the paperwork is all submitted, people. So Pika, yo, anybody where is a subscriber to my network and my channel, want to know anybody at Pika, just let them know how serious it is, and that this summer can make or break this entire campaign. So please, Pika, do the right thing. All right, people. But anyway, we're not going to stretch the show no more, people. We actually reached to the 2 hour because we did find something else to put in the show. So that is good. Content will load a bit faster, and YouTube like the consistency of the timing. So we're glad so we get to do something else. Link Babsy. Yeah, man, Babsy, I don't think Babsy can do much more. Babsy definitely is a proponent for these things. It's the actual Pika place, brother. I'm telling you. We need a link. We need somebody with a link to Pika. Long them are telling me to interview some Pika people, but I don't even know if they want to come on the platform, because we ever beat them. But I feel like I could get a link, All right, float drop back in with a score, 1-1. We just race a float to just send the things at this point, Yeah, man, you're good, bro. You're good, bro. I just close the show now. So if anything, just drop it in the comments underneath the posted video, yeah? But right now, I have Brentford and Brighton. That is it. And then I have Everton City, and now I have the 2-1 West Ham. But I have the Crystal Palace Bournemouth one. Unless they drop it way up there, so I'm going to miss it, which is possible. But I don't think so. Oh, yeah, I get it. 2-2. Yeah, I did miss it. Good on this one. All right, float. If anything, let's drop the rest of them then. No? You reach Villa, Newcastle, Fulham, Chelsea, Ipswich, Arsenal, Man U, Wolves, Leicester, Liverpool, Tottenham, Forest. Let's drop the whole of them. I'm going to write them down. And CK just drop a yellow up and never drop no score. My Dodge donkey, Yeah, but get the Palace Bournemouth one. Me scroll up and see it. Yeah, so about 6 more games. BBK Sports, big up yourself, I don't know who name so, who is BBK Sports? First, I see you on the channel, big bro. Let me see what your channel I talk about. I'm assuming you have a YouTube channel as well. So let me see what I'm going. Oh, Eddie Vision I do a show now. Go over there, go bother him, because I know him tell people some madness, So BBK Sports, let's see. All right, BBK Sports. General sports content with a heavy concentration on football, soccer. Heavy in Arsenal Football Club, mixed with a little NBA. All right, my thing. All right, I'm going to drop a subscribe on your channel, BBK. Big up yourself and thanks for tuning in. Zine, go and watch a few of your content and see what go on. All right, 3-2 Castle. And BBK, if you want to be a part of the pool for the picks, Yeah, man, I just subscribed to yours as well, bro. Big up. If you want to be a part of the picks, we do the 10 fixtures for the EPL weekend. And I do a review show Monday and reveal the winners and stuff. So if I know you just join in now and stuff, but if you want to go through and drop your 10 scores in the comments after the video, you can do that. All right. So big up. 2-1 Gunners. 2-1 Blues. 2-1 Wolves. 3-1 Liverpool. And 2-1 to Forest. All right, cool. That was never made fully clear to me, Balpre. Never made fully clear to me. What the way it was explained to me was they have to sort it out with the organizers what the rules are going to be. Because remember, Nigeria and Ghana could very well have some situations similar to ours. So they might want to free up the thing as well. So I think they were gonna have a sit down and try to discuss that. I would think prior to trying to name that squad. So they would want to be having those conversations probably around now, so that they can make correspondence to the respective clubs in the near future. So once I am able to get that information, I will definitely bring it to the public, because that's something that we don't need to hide. Because I think that's part of the reason why sometimes they get beaten. Like if them would have just tell me, okay, this is going to be unofficial friendly where we can call any player that has applied for citizenship and don't get them passport yet. Or we're gonna try to report all of this as official match so that we can get the FIFA friendly points and blah blah blah. Then let us know that, because then we'll know, okay, anybody who don't have them thing yet can't play. And then we're not like check for people like, why you never call this and why you never call that. So, yeah, man, it look like a 2-1 a year score, brother. About 7-1. Yeah, man. We are doing it from the season start, bro. And worst picker get donkey of the week, and then the best picker get a trophy. Nice big reveal on the review show. And yeah, man. So like how you find the show this week, just go and take it in and see how it stay, and me go and take in your content and see how I go on as well. Zine, I don't know. Content creators. Nothing wrong with our family vibes. Anyway, people, that is it, Another preview show in the books. We'll be back Monday after the 10 weekend fixtures are played. I think the Tottenham Forest game is Monday. So once that game is played, look out for me Monday night for the review show, where we have the reveal of all the results of the predictions. We'll break down the games, talk about the big talking points in the matches. And also, we'll also discuss what happened in the various leagues as well. There are some good races around Europe, so we'll check in with the top 5 leagues just to see how those leagues are shaping up. A few of them looking like they'll go down to the wire, some looking more like the Premier League. We'll just take a check-in with those as well. But until then, people, I will return at some point this weekend. I'm pretty sure I will drop some content in regards to the Jamaica football space. Have a lot to talk about, a lot of players to track. It's coming up to calling time. Window calling time, so we want to just keep abreast with what's going on with all of the players. All right, I don't know what's wrong with YouTube. Why am I just coming this channel? I don't know, bro. That's why I said, I'm say the first me I see that name is a new name that, so I don't know. I reach out, I don't drop my subscription. I'm gonna take in your content to see what I go on. But as we see the manners and respect me, G, I say yeah it too. So yeah, it's crazy how like you wouldn't have found this channel just yet, but so it goes still, all in God's timing. So big up, people. Thanks so much for the support as usual. As Red Skull said, views are go up, so you don't know where to do the right thing. We are stay consistent. All you creators out there, that is the key. Stay consistent. It fall off a little bit and it kind of derail the thing a little, but yeah, from where they are, we get back consistent, and we are see the numbers start to get back where they need to be. See? So thanks so much for the support. Again, I'm a Jamaican that trying to wedge them way into the EPL crowded space. And we are doing a decent job, people. As Red Skull said, the views are grow. And obviously, we are trying to let people know, say, yes, we have the Jamaican topics. We can talk about who forget pick left, right, and center every week. But man's have range, people. So we can cover EPL and stand up with all of them EPL content, man, the way you see out the scene. So yes, the channel will go and grow, people. So I remember all I know who did there when the numbers did look like this. Because one day, people, and I go there and I go say, John, why Gooner not read me comment them? Brother, too much comment forward, I'm sorry. But yeah, for now, we have the everybody get them time. So when you take advantage of them time, when you can ask a question, I'm actually see it. All right, people, because it won't always be like this, people. Remember that. Big up on yourself, though. Thanks again for the support. And as we always say at the end of the program, then, I am Jason Gooner. This is Jason Gooner TV. And come on, you Gooner.